Right then. Hello everyone. How are we all doing? We've managed to survive a whole week without Formula 1, but you know, it's quite hard to not look ahead to next year already as one would want to. So hello everyone and welcome to the RaceBeacon midweek show. It's great to see some of you guys in the chat as well, and today, as you can see on the left-hand side, we're going to go over our predictions for the 2022 season. So let's get some of these in. Yes, we have, of course, as Soham's saying in the chat as well, Ferrari are revealing between the 16th and 18th of February their car and livery. So at the moment, they're the only team that have confirmed a rough date for when we're going to get our first look at the 2022 cars and livery. Of course, with their Santander sponsorship now, it is sure to be a good one with some white returning to that car, which I think is when Ferrari look their best. So hello everyone, hello. How are we all doing? Desislava in the chat saying hi, hello. We've got John as well in here. We got Ditcher as well saying Haas will pull a Brawn Grand Prix next year. Yeah, you're probably not going to like my predictions. We've got Alfred as well saying Lewis was robbed. But yes, here we are. Hello everyone and welcome back. Yes, and also a massive thank you to everyone who watched the video that came out last week as well, because that has done very well. And yeah, we also have another video coming up as well, hopefully fairly shortly. Just got to get everyone to make that, I think, would be a good starting point. So I'm saying the white street livery is going to look so sick. Can already feel it. I imagine it is, to be honest. I do imagine it will be. I think it's going to look really good. Hopefully it does as well. You know, it's hard to make a bad looking Ferrari, to be honest. So yeah, fingers crossed it all looks good. Right, so I suppose we can probably end up getting into it, can't we? I'm going to quickly... I've got so many different tabs open for this, it is ridiculous. So Ferrari's livery might look a little like the early 2010s. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be quite similar to that, which I am all for. Is there 61 days till the next race, as she says with crying emoji? No, it's worse than that. It's 61 days until the first pre-season test. So, yeah, sorry about that. That's day one of pre-season testing. There's a long way to go until the season gets underway. So that's why I thought, you know what? Let's get these predictions out now. And we're going to do another round of predictions in a midweek show later on after pre-season testing. And then we can compare how much it's changed and then see how wrong we were at the end of the season itself. What are we seeing? Hungry Baku and Silverson didn't happen. No, he's coming to the White Street Live. Okay, cool. What about DRS next year? Well, it'll be interesting, DRS. I think the idea is it's going to be less effective, I think they're saying. So I think that's what I've been seeing at least. But it doesn't matter if it's less effective because hopefully the cars should be able to follow a lot easier than they were able to this year. Let's put it that way. I'm going to quickly make sure everything's all working. Yep, we got the YouTube going. Okay, I think we're all good to go. And also, what I might do here is actually turn the predictions part into a video and upload it separately. I think that's a good idea. I assume that's a good idea. How many sprint races next year? I believe there's meant to be six. Desislava, I'm fairly sure. Your subscriber amount does not reflect the amount of good content you have given us this F1 year. Thank you so much, Atish. Yeah, no, that means a lot. Of course, to be fair, I'm pretty happy with it for like the stuff I've done because we've only been going with this for just over a month. Like as I said last week, I think it would be about 37 days ago now. We were on about 180, 200 subscribers. So honestly, the growth has been absolutely crazy, and the last video did so well. So yeah, hopefully we'll go with that. Right, what was it? Any new drivers in 2022? Well, we have Guan Yu Zhou coming into Alfa Romeo, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So, do just a suggestion with the minimalist graphics and more reach. This channel is a clear 50k in my opinion. The commentary already sounds pro. Thank you so much, Soham. Thank you so much. Those constructors' predictions of this year's results. Yes, they are. Alfred. I haven't got on to that part yet. Should probably change the top actually. Let's what 2022 constructors. There we go. That is actually just the constructors in it. So yeah, like I say, we're going to be putting them in an order in just a minute's time. So I think what I'm going to do is make it a separate video as well. So Ditch is saying, got a question, will you continue these videos even during the break? Yes, that is the plan. That is the plan. We're going to be keep doing these streams every Wednesday. I appreciate they're probably not going to be anywhere near as big as the ones in the actual season itself, but it's just a way to give you guys some F1 content through the week. Because obviously, everyone here, F1 fan, and yeah, we're going to be a bit starved of content. So I'll be bringing all of the news and trying to make some fun videos as well. And also, if you're new here, if you fancy getting involved with the Discord, it's the top link in the description. Hopefully it still works. But yeah, like I say, look, hopefully we're going to keep all of this content going throughout the winter break. We're going to have some fun videos coming up. Try to involve the Discord server and you guys, basically. Try to involve you guys as much as possible. We'll probably start doing some form of, quote, phone-in on this show. So you can actually, like, have a chance to come on, say your piece, and then we discuss it. And, you know, just do, like, 5-minute segments with different people coming on and saying what they think. I'm Max, by the way, just want to see these two on track again. Do you think Lewis will return next year to fight with Max again on track? Yes, so Antonio, it was confirmed today, and actually it's the first thing I could bring up on the stream. So if I head over here, get the window capture set up, which I always forget to do because I'm just that clever. Here we go. So we actually do have Lewis Hamilton has informed Mercedes he will not retire and has decided to continue racing in F1 next year. So this is from the ItalianMotorsport.com site. Basically just saying, yeah, he will compete again, and he will obviously fulfill his contract. So there you go on that front. I'm going to log into the right Twitter account. So if you do want to get in touch, the Twitter account is at RaceBeacon YT. So there you go. If you do want to get involved, that's the way to do it. But yes, we did have that. We did have that news as well from Formula Races. Let's head back over there because I think that is the no, this is the meme account, which is really funny. There we go. Get the proper account. Should probably follow them. But yeah, here we go. So yeah, we did have Lewis Hamilton for Mercedes. He will not retire and has decided to continue racing in F1 next year. Then we also have... Alright, I'm going to have to try to remember which ones these are. So that's Sky Sports. Oh, so this is one. So Bonotto was actually saying, if we translate this tweet for those who don't speak Italian, as Ferrari the goal is victory and anticipating surprises in 2022. So we've heard some confident things coming from Ferrari, especially with new Santander deals as well. What's this one? Christian Horner. Oh yes, Christian Horner has signed a new contract until 2026, of course, being a reward for his championship-winning year. And I think even if he lost out on it, let's say the fine margins that Mercedes lost out by, he'd have probably still got a renewal because, you know, they did a great job this year, really genuinely. What was this one as well? Mattia Binotto. Oh, yes, here we go. So this is February 16th to 18th. We'll be getting our first look at a 2022 Formula 1 car. And I am very excited for this. You know, like I say, we can expect the Santander branding to feature somewhere in this livery as well, which I'm so hyped for. I cannot wait to see this car. We've also got this, which is about to lead us right into our predictions. It says, so this tweet says, a rumour that I heard in Abu Dhabi is that there are supposedly 2 teams that have found something smart with the 2022 cars that the others have not found out. I do not know which teams. Maybe we'll get a Brawn situation. And I feel like that's a pretty safe thing to just say in general, but yeah, pretty interesting one. Whoa, a stream. Yes, it is, Morgan. We're streaming. So we've got Alfred's, so his constructors' predictions are AlphaTauri 10, Alfa Romeo 9, Aston Martin 8, Haas 7, 6 Williams, 5 Red Bull, 4 Alpine, 3 McLaren, 2 Ferrari, and 1 Mercedes. What have we got? Ferrari sounded oddly confident. As a Ferrari fan, that sounds scary. Oh yeah, glad my mouse didn't disappear. No, it hasn't disappeared yet. I can still see the mouse. I don't know how long that's going to last for, but there we go. What are we seeing as well? What was it? Hello F1 guy, good to see you back in the chat. Ferrari title contenders next year. Antonio says, should we get into my predictions? Should we? I've sort of got a little bit of a segment on each team and what we should be expecting. So I guess we can move into that now. Well, yeah, let's give it a go. So I want to be on. Right, this is fun. Trying to figure out on OBS. Here we go. So we've got a blank slate. The 2022 constructors prediction. Now, I'm going to go from bottom to the top here. I'm going to go from who I think will be 10th up, just to make it that little bit more dramatic, you know. We like that tension. Haas title contenders. I'll give you £1,000 if this is right, Alfie. But I think once Aston gets the factory up, they will be up there. Yeah, potentially. And I think Aston Martin are going to need a year or two to properly get where they need to be. So again, take that into account, especially with my predictions as well here. How much preparation did Merck have for 2022? That's a good question. They did. I think I've seen statements before saying that they sort of were forced to look a bit too much at 2021 than what they maybe would have liked to, but as a general rule of thumb, they didn't overdevelop this year, as much as I believe Red Bull have. So, we're expecting or hoping. So this is what I'm expecting. I could do a what I hope for one, but we're going to go over expectations first. So, I'm going to start off with, in 10th place, I'm going to go with Haas. And now, okay, I know this probably won't be a popular one, because a lot of people do think Haas are going to do very well next year. And don't get me wrong, I think they're going to have a competent car, and they definitely have potential to do well. But I'm going off what I think is the most likely to happen, not what could happen. They could have a great year, but I think it's most likely with their still relatively inexperienced driver lineup, prone to crashes and mistakes. One driver very much not up there. It's going to be a tough one for them, especially when in the lower end of the midfield you do actually have some pretty decent teams as well, with pretty decent driver lineups that they're fighting against. So they're going to need a very good car. I think they'll pick up some points. I think this could be a year where we see every team pick up points. We might get some more crazy races. But unfortunately, I do still think Haas will end up down in P10. I'm going to see what the reaction to that is like, what people think here. Because I've seen a couple of shouts for people saying that Haas would be title contenders. So, I don't know. I don't know what people think about that one. But for me, I find that the most likely outcome is that Haas are right down the order. So, there we go. Next up, I think it's a good idea that we move on. And I also do want to say it is so close in this midfield in my mind. And ultimately, most of these are very likely to be completely wrong. So do bear that in mind. I'm aware that this isn't gospel. For next, though, I would put Alfa Romeo. And again, I don't want it to feel like I'm being lazy and picking the teams who are lower down this year and saying, oh, well, they must be bad next year as well. But I just don't see it come from Alfa Romeo. They've got Guan Yu Zhou, who to me isn't by any means the most promising prospect coming out of Formula 2 this year. They've got Valtteri Bottas, who on his day can put in a great performance. So like I say, I'm expecting them to pick up points, and Valtteri potentially picking up the lower end of the points on a pretty regular basis. But I just don't know if it will be enough. Next up as well, again, it's going to seem lazy because at the moment it's the bottom three. I would put Williams in 8th place as well. And they haven't got the best lineup in the world. They have got Albon and Latifi. And both of them, like I say, are able to score points. I feel like ultimately, out of these bottom three, they have the best lineup with an experienced driver in Albon, who's had a couple of years in the sport, and a fairly experienced Latifi, who on his day can put in an okay performance. Nothing too special, but okay performance to say the least. I'm going to take a quick break and see what everyone say, because the chat is absolutely flying by here. We've got Oscar was robbed from a seat because of money. Yeah, that's my opinion on it as well, I'm pretty sure. What we're seeing as well, see Russell more faster than Hamilton and winning more. We're seeing Mazepin and Schumi just isn't strong enough. No, Morgan, I agree with you. I just don't see it being a strong enough lineup to contend with the other lineups they're fighting here. Williams will do better than Aston Martin, in my opinion, says Antonio, which again is, probably right. I have no idea. This is the best guesswork we've got at the moment. So if we head back as well, I have got a list of this so I don't forget. So next up as well, I've got AlphaTauri, and they're a real tough one because I'm not entirely sure what to do with them coming into this. I wasn't entirely sure where to go. I think they always have a decent car. They've got a solid lineup. I expect Tsunoda to maybe perform a little bit better this year, or next year, I should say. And you've got Pierre Gasly, who has been putting in some really good performances, especially at the latter end of the season as well. He was very much up there and got a lot of fairly well-deserved praise. So I don't know, I think they'll do pretty well, but I just can't see them breaking into the top 6, because theoretically you've got the likes of Aston Martin should be stronger, Alpine should be stronger, and all of the ones above were stronger anyway. So I'd be surprised if AlphaTauri do come in with any massive development. I'd be pretty surprised if they can make inroads into the top part of the field. So AlphaTauri's development is insane. Yeah, they do have decent development, they do. Throughout the course of the season, they do tend to do pretty well. But I don't know. I can't see them starting the season with a fantastic car and being right up there. I do struggle to see it. Again, like I say, could be completely wrong. I don't want to seem like a gloomster for fans of other teams, because this could all prove to be quite wrong. Probably will prove to be quite wrong. That's why we're going to do it again. All of this again after pre-season testing, and we'll see how much it's changed, which should be actually quite fun to see. Next up, in 6th place, though, I have got Aston Martin. So I'm expecting them to do better than they did this year. They were very much hit by the high rate cars being favoured more with the 2021 regulations compared to the 2020. But equally, they didn't get a lot of experience in developing that low rake concept, because they effectively copied the Mercedes in 2020, went to this new fundamental philosophy, and then tried to develop it in 2021 a bit. But as we saw, they didn't make massive inroads. They didn't want to put too much investment in it because of the 2022 car, which is fair enough. But yeah, for me, Aston Martin picking up pretty regular points next year. Definitely a sneak podium. I think I could see most of the teams pick up a sneak podium. Maybe not Alfa or Haas. And I'm not entirely sure. I think Williams are about 50-50 for me. But I can see all of the other teams on the grid scoring a podium next year at some point. And I still can't go over the fact that McLaren were the only team to get a 1-2 this year, which is just absolutely crazy. And you would not predict that at all. What are we seeing? Aston Martin will do pretty good, but Lance will bring them down. Yeah, exactly. Again, I think they're in a situation where I'm not entirely certain that they have the best lineup relative to the cars that they're probably going to be quite close with on pace. Lance he's not a groundbreaking prospect, and Seb is he is past his prime. As much as that does hurt to say, he is. He's not going to get a lot better from where he has been the last 2 years. But look, they're still going to pick up pretty regular points in my mind. They're going to do pretty well. Next up as well, I was really struggling with this one between, I'm going to be honest, McLaren and Alpine. And it also, I will get onto Red Bull and discuss what I think could happen with them, because it can go two ways in my mind. So we'll discuss that as well. But for me, we're looking at P5 between McLaren and Alpine. I'm edging towards McLaren because on balance, I trust them to develop more throughout the course of the season. But especially if Lando Norris improves a little bit more as well, like we've seen, Daniel should get more used to the car and they should be a real prospect. So yeah, it's a difficult one with this. Like I say, I think it's going to be pretty tight at the top for the most part. So ooh, I've just moved Red Bull. Whoops. I think it's going to be pretty close at the top. So it's an interesting one. I really did struggle trying to make this list. So we've got Alpine in P5. Just ahead of them, I have just put McLaren edging them slightly. I'm expecting McLaren to have a fairly decent car. They didn't put a lot of development into the latter half of the season. Their last upgrade was at Belgium after the winter break. So they have had a long time working on this car. And, you know, they should be able to do some pretty decent things with it, I imagine. But it's going to depend on being able to extract it. Whether or not other teams have come up with groundbreaking designs that should give them the edge. It's a hard one because we haven't seen the cars, we have no idea, and a lot of the confidence hasn't started coming from the teams yet. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because I know a lot of people will be expecting me to put Ferrari up next based on this season and the last couple, but I'm actually going to go with Red Bull in 3rd place. I feel like, and again, let's go on to Red Bull now, the discussion here. Yes, they have a good driver lineup, they absolutely do. Perez and Max being one of the best drivers in the sport, will go on to win many world championships. But I don't know, with the investment they put in this year, whether, in my mind here, they could either end up with the fastest car this whole time and do great, or they could end up in around this battle. and I really don't know what to expect from them. So I'm putting them sort of in the middle. I can still see them with Adrian Newey, fantastic, absolute genius. I expect him to do good things, and that could be their saving grace, is that they still get a decent car because of the team they have behind them. And then, this is where it gets a little bit ambitious, maybe, but I will put Mercedes second on the balance. Yes, they have two great drivers next year. They have George Russell coming in. He's going to want to prove something. And they have Lewis Hamilton as well, who, again, is going to want to prove something. He's coming back. He will want that 8th World Championship. He will be hungry to right what he will see as a wrong from the 2021 season. But I don't know. I just think that domination has to end at some point. And I'll be surprised if they're able to just come out again and, you know, just absolutely ace it, have the best car, and lead off another generation of these cars. So I'm going with Ferrari for first place. And now the Ferrari fans might absolutely love that. But for me, they have, I think, very much one of, if not the best lineup on the grid next year in Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. It is a phenomenal lineup. Sainz was able to, you know, he was able to fight his own against Max. And Charles was phenomenal. He picked up 2 pole positions this year. They both have to solve a bit of the crashing. Do have to say that. And that could be something that changes this main battle at the top. But they've got a great engine. They've been developing I assume, a very good strategy, chassis. They seem pretty optimistic that their strategy is going to work. They've got a good new sponsor coming in with Santander. It just seems like it's all on the up for them again. And if they're not first, I can see them being second or third very easily. I'm hoping, well, okay, what I'm expecting is on pace it to look something a little bit like this. If we're going to, I've just moved the backdrop. If we're looking at on pace or points, let's say overall, I'm expecting it to be a bit like this. I think you're going to have AlphaTauri, Williams. Actually, no, I'm going to put AlphaTauri right up there with Aston. I think you're going to have the bottom 3. They're going to be fighting for the lower end of the points every now and again. You know, they're going to be up there, but they're still going to pick up some points. Then I think you're going to have Aston Martin and AlphaTauri, who just aren't able to keep up with the main pack of cars. And this is maybe a little bit of wishful thinking for the 2022 season. But I do want a lot of cars up there being able to fight each other on a more regular basis. Something a bit like what we saw in 2012 at the start of the season. Hopefully, something like that goes on for the whole year. I can see AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, they're going to be regularly in the points, but regularly at the lower end of the points, which is ultimately going to stop them from really keeping up with this pack above. I guess if you want to be really realistic about it, you can maybe... I don't know, I don't want to put Red Bull right with McLaren. I think I'll put them in between in their own pack. So Red Bull, you know, they're still going to be absolutely up there. They're going to do great things. They're going to win races. They're going to get regular podiums. But for me, I just think Ferrari really do have it. I trust the Ferrari... I trust the Ferrari development a little bit more than I trust, let's say, the McLaren or Alpine development. Because Alpine, originally, Renault, had a, about a 5-year plan. And they've got to the end of that plan. And they didn't achieve a lot last year. Yeah, they won a race, but that was circumstantial. That wasn't pure pace. And I think they're going to struggle. Struggle really making a lot of inroads. So that'll be fun. What have we got? 1 Alpine, 2 Ferrari, everyone else trust L plan. Right, I'm interested to see what you guys have been saying in the chat for all this. I'm surprised. Let's see what you're going with. So we got there. AlphaTauri saying, yep, we read that one. Please give Seb a good car, man. At God. AlphaTauri do better than Red Bull and Gasly ahead of Max. They've been Minardi. It's not the first Venturi car. I see Ferrari and Mercedes fighting for that title again. Yeah, I think that's sort of the boat I'm in. Morgan saying, I think it will be more spread out than people think. Will be a different pecking order though. Yeah, I think it will be. I'm being a bit optimistic with this. Don't disrespect L Plan. I don't want to, because again, I think they're going to be up there. You know, I think they're going to get podiums every now and again. What are we seeing? Mercedes started developing 2022 and 2020. Yeah, they absolutely did. And that's why they lost this season, basically. You know, they didn't put as lot into this year. And still won the Constructors. They're going to be a good team. Like, I can see it being close. And this is being a little bit optimistic. But I just see I don't know why. There's just an element of... I don't know what it is. I just think Ferrari this is their best chance in a very long time. And they are a team that are naturally right at the top of the pecking order. They find themselves there all the time. So I can just see it happening. I really, really genuinely can. So what do you guys think? What do you guys make of that? In what way is Ferrari lined up better than Merc? Merc have the greatest of all time and the best up and coming. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying there. And I'm not saying it is the best, but it is absolutely up there. It's between them. And George is a bit of an unproven at the top end of the grid over the course of a season, so it'll be interesting what you do. And I'm saying, hi RaceBeacon, everyone in the chat. I can't wait for Ferrari. Well, I think you'll be liking this prediction, won't you? You have to leave the space all the time. Ferrari have absolutely no excuses for next year. They have to deliver. Yeah, so Ham, I'm sort of thinking the same thing there. They've had a lot of time to go back and work on this. They would have realised after they were forced to change their engine that realistically 2020 and what would have been 2021, I guess, as well, because the regulations were extended for a year, were lost years. And I think they would have expected that. And Mattia Binotto at times in the last few races didn't even turn up. So for me, that indicates that priorities probably are elsewhere. They're not putting their all into last season or the season before. They expected it to not quite go... You know, they're not going to be right at the top end. I think they expect that. And they still were able to put in a really good performance. And that's because they are a team that naturally find their way to the front of the grid. We think L Plan will not work. Aditya not liking that one. I do like a bit of L Plan. I hope L Plan does work because I really do want to see Alonso up there fighting the top guys again. I really do want to see that. What else have we got? Looking around, I think, yeah, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, I can see those two battling. I think they'll be fairly close on pace. But like I say, I can't wait to bring all of the coverage from pre-season testing because the current plan is to try to do all of pre-season testing live. So, yeah, that'll be a fun one. What are we seeing? Merc could not pass cars in Mercedes in Alfa Romeo. He would just drive in the train. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think Valtteri Bottas... he's not clinical enough to do it. That's the issue. So I'm seeing Luis Fernando as well saying... what we're seeing here. So it's when will it be announced? What time? So the Ferrari car. We'll go back to that quickly. Let's head back over to, I believe it's this one. Yes, it is that one. That was a bold one. Right, where was it? No, it was there. There's one of these. The last one I check. So Mattia Binotto has revealed Ferrari will unveil their 2022 F1 Challenger between February the 16th and February the 18th. And now, for full disclosure, pre-season testing is on the 23rd of February. So we're talking here the week before the start of pre-season testing. Ferrari do tend to be sort of in the middle or later on their car releases. So I think we can expect first cars around early February. You know, a lot of the teams do tend to try to fight for that Valentine's Day release. Michael did the wrong thing. What is white wings? I have no idea. When is the reveal for Ferrari? Yeah, it's went over that one. Starship Buzz refer... oh, right, okay, yeah, you guys were talking. When the Santander sponsorship is there. Yes, rolling eyes. I'm looking forward to that. I think that car should look really good. Am I going to do a World Drivers' Championship prediction? Yes, I will, but I am going to save that for after pre-season testing. I will be saving that one. What was it? 5 euros says Binotto gets a haircut next year. Well, I think he will at some point in the year, yeah. Ferrari will be white. It will have white elements on it because the new premium partner is Santander again. And as we saw in the past, you know, early 2000s and before, early 2010s and before, you got a little bit of white in the car. What are we seeing? The Ferrari will be white. Expect release to be a blurred poster on the FOM model. Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be the Formula 1 car that was released by the, you know, Formula 1 media, and we've seen a little bit of already, the 2022 car. But it will also have, you know, the livery on it, basically. They're not gonna show their hand. Let's put it that way. Wait, what is Santander? It's a sponsorship, basically. It's a big banking company. I think I know they do banking. I don't know if they are predominantly a banking company, but did Santander leave because Alonso left? I think they did, didn't they? I think they did. And of course now they have Carlos Sainz there as well. There's a little bit more Spanish investment, so potentially we could be seeing Santander and Sainz in it for maybe the long run, because Sainz had a great year. He beat Charles. Like, let's not gloss over that. Carlos Sainz did beat Charles Leclerc in his first season at Ferrari. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. My daddy owns Santander. Oh, how nice would that be? How nice would that be? This could be a 2018 thing where Ferrari had the fastest car, but the championship was won by Lewis and Merck. Potentially, yeah. Potentially. We could see a situation like we saw this year where we see a different driver winning the Constructors, a different team winning the Drivers than the Constructors Championship. So, again, I wouldn't be surprised by that. I'm pretty happy with this. I know for a fact that there's a high likelihood every single one of them could be in the wrong position, but I think if you're looking roughly, I do think this is roughly what it's going to be, because I'm sort of putting these guys down here because they haven't got the best driver lineups. You know, the bottom three, they don't have fantastic lineups. It's and they also haven't got the biggest investments for their car either. I think most of these teams aren't even going to hit the budget cap that's allowed. So yeah, it's maybe not looking fantastic for them. What we got as well in the chat, if we head back. The Mercedes will still be black or grey, like when the car was winning. I think it's still going to be black, I believe. I think they said they were going to keep it black for next year as well. Wouldn't it be great if there was a 4-team Constructors battle? Hopefully, that would be amazing. Realistically, I want it to be a 5-team. I want, all the way down to Alpine, all of these guys to be involved with that fight. I just think, realistically, Red Bull might have overextended this year, but if I'm going straight to 2023 predictions already, I would put Red Bull right back up here in this pack. I just think they might suffer for a year because they maybe had to overinvest in this year just a little bit. And I'd say rightly, to ensure they actually win a championship. I don't blame them an ounce for it. If I'm Red Bull, I'd rather have a championship, all the money, all the marketing you get with it, and then maybe come 3rd or 4th for a year. And then you might probably end up being right back where you want to be in the next year. So, I don't know. I don't know what you people are smoking. Nikita Mazepin will get every pole, every fastest lap, every race win in the championship. If Sad there's no Brabham car, they were fast. Yeah, I'd love to see like a Brabham back on the grid. That'd be amazing. Joe is a main G. It's going to be silver. Is it going to be silver? I think I've seen it's going to be black. I think Alfa will be in front of Williams. Yeah, I'd say probably these guys and... Oh, this is rough. Because I don't know where to put Red Bull. I really have sort of struggled with Red Bull here. Because realistically, they could either be here, here, here. It all depends on what package Red Bull come with. I'm fairly confident that everyone else is going to be up there. It may be bold, but I'm fairly sure Ferrari are going to be right up there, fighting for race wins, if not very regular podiums. They're going to be on the podium pretty much every week, I imagine. It's a tough one, though. It is, because there's quite a lot that depends. Merc is silver next year, is it? Thank you, Morgan. I know. I have to look at this now. They're going back from the black, are they? Huh. Ah, right. Yeah, okay. You know how we know that is because I've just seen the tweet where they seemingly confirm that it's going back to silver again, because I somehow managed to miss this. Let's get it up on the screen for people who haven't seen it. Mercedes put this up on their socials, and we have the silver car returning. Well, we have got black as well, so this might be nothing. Unless there's a reveal at the end. Okay, I mean there's a bit, there's a lot of silver going on here. Okay, I don't know, maybe that wasn't quite it, but A silver livery, please. Agreed. Like that looks very nice, doesn't it? That does look very good. I'm so looking forward to these guys. I cannot wait to have a look at all of these liveries and try to analyse the cars when they come out. I'm very excited to get to do that. There's no doubt there. Right, let's head back to see what you're all saying. RaceBeacon used to think cars last after investing only. Yes, Stephen, I'll go back to sort of what I said at the start when I was going over it. I think their car realistically could... Hang on, let me put it all back where I think it... There we go. Realistically, I think their car could probably be around here. And look, we know they can make good cars. They could range in this region. But I'm sorry, I just don't think their driver lineup's strong enough. And look, they can come out and surprise me. I'm more than happy for them to do it. But I just don't see their lineup being strong enough to properly compete. You've got Mick Schumacher, who makes a lot of mistakes. A lot of crashing. I think he had the highest crash damage bill over the course of the season. He's pulled out a couple of special qualities, being able to get out of Q1. So look, he's capable of picking up some points. And like I say, I think we're going to get a situation where every team scores a point, hopefully. Fingers crossed. That may be more me dreaming than a realistic guess, but fingers crossed that does happen. Who's my pick for World Drivers' Championship? That's a real hard one. Like I said, I'm going to do a full prediction after pre-season testing. But if I was to say right now, I'd go with it being, hungry Lewis Hamilton coming back. We're either going to get a really aggressive, hungry Hamilton who really wants to prove that he was wronged. He deserved that 2021 championship. Or we're going to see one that's a little bit more dejected, got a new, young, ambitious teammate, and he could end up getting beaten by George. For me, it's either going to be a Vettel-Leclerc year or a, Hamilton-Alonso year, where he's able to really get up there and do a fantastic performance, or a Leclerc and Russell being, beating a more experienced teammate who's been at the team a while, just missed out on a championship, maybe a little bit dejected, and never really comes back from it. It'll be one of the two, and it all depends on his mental state, basically. Drivers with something to prove are dangerous, yet. To an extent. I don't think he's going to become like an inherently aggressive, he's not going to become an over-aggressive, dangerous driver. I more mean, putting it on the edge a little bit more than maybe we saw this year. Where the car, I think /Hope signs off Verstappen, to be fair. Oh yeah, for champion. Reasonable. Oh god, it's hard. I honestly, it's so hard because genuinely, for me, any of those top 5 teams, a driver from there could win the championship for me. I don't see Vettel, Stroll, Gasly, Tsunoda, or the Williams, Alfa, or Haas drivers winning the championship. I can't see that. But if Alpine rock up with a great car, they can win the championship with either of their drivers. If McLaren do, they can win it with either of their drivers. Red Bull can rock up. I don't think Perez will be able to win the title because Red Bull will inherently prioritise in the design of their car as well the current world champion, the guy with number 1 on his car in Max. Mercedes, it could be Hamilton or Russell, depending on which one performs best. And Ferrari, it could be Sainz or Leclerc. So for me, there's 9 drivers who could win the championship. Emphasis on could. It's basically Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris or Alonso. Pretty much, yeah. The strongest drivers from that team, yeah. If you want to look at that way. But I also hope that Daniel is able to improve a little bit. As a McLaren fan myself, I do hope he's able to improve a bit. And we can see him fighting right up there. What we're seeing as well in the chat, but if Wine retires, is he a little bit, he will take his seat. He won't retire. He's confirmed that he won't retire. So he will be back next year. But it is interesting. Who do you think would have taken that seat? For me, it would have been Ocon and... Yeah, for me, it would have been Ocon taking that Mercedes seat, but not sure. Don't count Danny Rick out. No, I don't want to. Hopefully, he is able to put in a great performance again, and we can see him right up at the top because he is a top-tier driver. He's just got to prove it. Verstappen is over-aggressive, dangerous driver. To an extent, I wouldn't say it's excessively dangerous, but he is potentially over-aggressive at times. Yeah, I'm happy to say that. Piastri, I'd love to see Piastri. He wouldn't go straight to the Mercedes, but I just want to see him in F1. He is such a good talent. De Vries or Bottas U-turn if he had to be replaced? Yeah, potentially. That's a good point. Palladi's saying, RaceBeacon, I just joined. Can you say again why Ferrari is better than Mercedes? Okay. So, I want to say as well here, I'm not saying Ferrari are going to be dominant. If realistically, it's more like this, in my guess. It is. I think it's a tough one, this. It really is. Ferrari have a fantastic lineup. Carlos Sainz, who was able to fight his way against Max when they were in Toro Rosso. Yeah, he did get beat, but he put up a great performance against Max. He put up a great performance against Lando, who was able to comfortably beat Daniel this year, who wasn't far off Max himself. So, look, they're all sort of at the same calibre. Sainz and Max and Lando and, or hopefully Daniel as well. They all sort of seem to be there or thereabouts with each other. And, if they're in different cars, they maybe might fight each other differently and so on. But for me, Ferrari, they have that great lineup. Great, phenomenal lineup, as long as they can erase the crashing. Because they do a little bit too much of that, do old Charles and Carlos. They should have a great chassis. They did minimal development on their car this year. Most of the time they gained at the end of the season came from engine upgrades. Which leads me on to the next point. They should have a great engine as well. There were reports that from... I can't remember who it was now. But yeah, there was people saying that the Ferrari engine should be... the signs on a dyno are really encouraging at the moment. They're still having to work on reliability, apparently. So what we could see is a really fast, but maybe a little bit explosive Ferrari engine. And that could maybe cost them in the end. But... look, Ferrari naturally find their way to the top. I think they've probably thrown away the last 2 years of development due to the fact that they had to change their engine. They sort of knew they weren't going to be right at the top, so didn't want to overinvest. And that's maybe why we haven't seen them naturally, the cream rises to the top, and that's what they are. They naturally find their way at the front of the grid throughout the history of Formula 1, Ferrari have. So, look, we cut, I feel like it's quite easy to get blinded in that, they haven't been great for a few years, so therefore they're going to keep doing bad. So yeah, for me, that's why they're just about there. And, I'm going with a bit of a bold prediction for fun. We'll see in pre-season testing. I'm going to do all of this again after pre-season testing, which I'll try to bring as much live coverage of as possible. And analysis as well. So yeah, that'd be good. I did just say Ferrari engine be like, boom, guys. Also interested to see someone other than Bottas besides Hamilton. Yeah, it really will be, to get a bit of comparison, see where Hamilton really is in his career now. Steven saying at RaceBeacon, do you think Max will get less aggressive now since he did say I've achieved all I wanted to achieve, the rest is a bonus? Obviously, he still want to push, but maybe less aggressive. I don't know, because we saw the same aggressive driving style throughout his career so far. So, I don't think his driving style will change. I'm still so blown away by how happy he was to take pretty big risks in Saudi Arabia when fighting Hamilton. I was pretty surprised by that. But yeah, so I've also got Pretish sending a message on Twitter. So where is Daniel going to finish next year? Predict number of podiums. That's a... I think he can pick up 2, 3, 4 podiums potentially, somewhere in that region. Yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere around there, to be honest. Lindley saying Max won't change. I don't think so. I don't think he'll change his style because it's worked for him. He's won a championship. Why would you change it? To be fair, Max is spicing it. He absolutely is. And that's the thing. I'm not saying it's a criticism of Max at all. I was just surprised to see someone who was fighting in a championship going as aggressive as he was. I'm not saying he was wrong to. I'm just saying I was surprised to see it. Lando better than Ricciardo? Yeah, potentially. But from what we've seen this year, Daniel... even in Monza when he got his win, Lando was the quicker car. He was happy to play the team game that day because at the end of the day, when a 1-2's on the cards, you take it. You insure it. Alfred himself is just so salty about Abu Dhabi. Absolute Max hater. Any chance of Red Bull having an actual different livery for once? I'd be very surprised. I think we're going to see... they could go for something. I think if they got the Constructors, they might have gone with a special Constructors Champions livery. But I think given it was just the drivers, they probably won't do anything too different. I'd be pretty surprised to see that. I've got a lot of notifications coming through on Twitter. Let me quickly try to read all these, see if there's anything new coming out. Let me try to give all these a read very quickly. Yeah, I don't think there's any more. It keeps happening. We keep getting breaking news during the midweek streams, which is great and annoying at the same time. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be anything else. So I'll head back over to the RaceBeacon Twitter. Right, so, yeah, what is everyone else saying? We've got at RaceBeacon, Ferrari and Merc are the only factory team that can test their own systems, engine systems, no car. Exactly. Not McLaren because it's McLaren Mercedes. Yep, absolutely. And they need to integrate and all. Yes, absolutely hitting the nail on the head there from Soham. You get a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, no, that is absolutely spot on. All of the custom engine teams, so they need to integrate their car around, or they need to integrate the engines into their car. They need to design their cars around the engines. But you get Mercedes, you get Ferrari. They can just do whatever they want with their car, and they can mould the engine in a way that they think works best. James, hello. He says, good evening. Hello. Vote the most beautiful car of 2022. Yeah, we'll do all of that sort of stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with the new liveries when they come out. I've got some pretty good plans for hype building once the season gets close. I've got a bit of stuff in the works. We've got some new videos coming out soon as well, so very much last chance to get involved in any of that if you hop onto the Discord server. You have the chance. It's the top link in the description. You have the chance, if you head to the announcement page, to get involved in a video. We're going to be starting work on that very soon. We have a full list of everything that's going to be done, written out, and all of the planning is there. So hopefully pretty soon we'll have a new video coming out. Is Honda just renamed? Yes, it is. Yes, and the new Red Bull engine is basically just the Honda engine. What are we seeing? What have we got? Schumacher was horrible in this time, but still considered to be one of the greats. RaceBeacon, will Red Bull not also do that? Because they're also making their engine Red Bull powertrain. Yeah, they are. Yeah, Aditya, you're right, yes. But I can't help but feel they have potentially over-invested in this season. I can't help but feel that they have. And they might not have, This is complete guesswork. Because until we see them in that first qualifying session, we just don't know. But for me, I think there's a higher chance that they have. So I'm late. What's up, fellas? Hello, Sohan. How are you doing? How are you doing? It's great to have you guys all here and see a lot of you guys returning. Hopefully, I do keep seeing you throughout the winter break where we keep doing these, and it's a good chance to just chat about Formula One in the off season because I know there's not a lot of coverage going on at the moment. I think Haas could be top 5 next year. They've had the most time focused on just the 2022 car. Yes, and James, I have sort of covered that idea a little bit. I think realistically, the actual car performance could be somewhere around here in this region. But for me, they do not have the driver lineup to match it. I can't see Mick performing in only his second season consistently at a high level to regularly score points. And I can't see Mazepin performing at a level to score points. Same issue I have with Guan Yu Zhou, basically, because he is not far clear, if at all, of Mazepin. So, I don't know, it's a tough one, and it's going to be close. It really is. We're talking tenths here. We're trying to predict whether or not that Haas is going to be 2 tenths a lap slower than the Aston Martins, or 2 tenths quicker. It's so marginal, all of this. But this is my most likely prediction, I think. I just see Ferrari being back up there again. Like that, I thought, I've been pretty dull with the lower half of the predictions, but I can just see something happening. Mick has always been champion in his second season. That's true. He's always done very well in his second year, but I'd be surprised if he could repeat that feat again. Very surprised. Steven says Schumacher crashes his opponents to win. At least Max didn't do that. At RaceBeacon, Red Bull source their parts from Acura, which is Honda's sport division, so you never know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think 2022 is supposed to be good for Merc and Aston Martin. Yes, so I assume you're referring to the higher and lower rake. For me, Mercedes gets a higher advantage from these cars preferring lower rake fundamental designs compared to others than Aston Martin do. Because Aston Martin, I feel like they effectively just adopted what Mercedes did in 2020. And then 2021, they sort of tried to develop their own... That's why I bring a drink to these streams. They tried to develop their own way, but as we saw, they were nowhere near what Mercedes were able to do. I were nowhere near being able to actually perform to what they could what they could do in the 2020 season. There's a lot of 2020s going on. It's quite confusing. I think Alpine could crash down to 10th. I don't know. I think I have some trust in El Plan, as they call it. But yeah, for me, Alpine are either going to do fantastically or not very well at all. I think it's going to be one of the two. Do you think the car's performance level will be close? I think the advantages increase whenever big rule changes could happen. Yeah, so my hope is that these guys are all pretty close at the top. And we get, them regularly fighting for podiums and the like. But realistically, I sort of see it a bit more like this. You've got the top two, Ferrari and Mercedes, sort of in a league of their own in a way. But Red Bull, McLaren and Alpine still probably able to pick up podiums. Aston Martin and AlphaTauri might get an odd podium throughout the course of the season, but will typically be lower end of the points. And then you have Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas, who will be fighting, lower end of the points every now and again. Typically be going out in Q1 and, maybe when there's more retirements, getting some good points, but yeah. James saying, I don't see Mercedes or Red Bull in the top two next season. They focus on this season more than anyone else, and they have the least wind tunnel time too. Yeah, that is true. That is true, but most of the development... Well, actually, no, that is true. Yeah, very much. How big do you think the gap will be between midfield and bottom? Oh, that's tough. That is a tough one. Realistically, you're looking at quite a few tenths for me here. Williams have not got the biggest budget in the world, nor a fantastic lineup. Alfa Romeo, not a great all-round lineup. Bottas, I think, will get points. But again, not the biggest budget in the world. And Haas, for me, just do not have the drivers for it. So, I don't know, it's a tough one. I know I keep saying that, but that's because we are trying to predict about 3 months into the future. So, but yeah. I think I'm pretty happy with this overall. What do I think about about Audi confirming their F1 entry? Yeah, it's not all fully confirmed yet, but there are sort of hints that they could be entering or lodging intention to enter. So, yeah, for me, I can't get too excited about it if it isn't a new team. For me, I want 2 more spots on the grid for some great F2 drivers or great drivers who deserve a seat but just don't have one to try to get into the sport. But I think it's most likely they take over an existing team, unfortunately. What have we got? Would not see him as go. Race for sure if Audi enters, it's like in 2024. Oh yeah, it also won't be. Yeah, that's the thing as well. It won't be for years. It will be when the next engine regulations come in. How far are the Aston of Alpine and McLaren pace-wise? I don't know. So I'd probably put a couple of attempts between the Williams. So I think you've got your typical, your Caterham, Marussia, HRT at the back with Williams, Alfa and Haas. Then you've got a few attempts to the AlphaTauri, Aston Martins. I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where, in a qualifying session, the Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri, they could split their way into that pack. But I just think overall, especially when we get to race pace, they might tend to struggle a little bit more. But, in qualifying sessions, we could see it shake up a little bit. You get maybe a couple of races where McLaren and Alpine are quicker. Aston Martin maybe split their way in. And it could all get... I don't know. I don't know, fundamentally, where this will go. And that's what's so exciting about hyping up a new season. I'd love to see 12 teams, but it would only work if they spread the prize money properly. Yes, absolutely. That's what killed off Manor in 2016. Too right, James. So I'm saying, where am I from? So I'm from, England, and effectively north of London. So there you go. When it's going to be the livery reveal. So we'll see the Ferrari reveal on the 16th to 18th of February, which is about a week before the first pre-season test, which you can see a countdown to in the bottom left of the screen. Samantha saying, sorry, just joined, so can you explain why you feel Ferrari be on top and Williams and Haas will make no improvement even though they focus so much on 2022? Yes, I can. So, we've got, for me, Haas, I think their car could very... Oh, hang on, let me move Aston Martin back. So for me, Haas could potentially be there on actual car pace itself, car performance. But I don't have a lot of faith in that driver lineup. I can't see Mazepin scoring points. He's too far off his teammate. I think that's just not going to happen. And Mick himself, he makes too many mistakes. And he doesn't have any real experience, you know. He's just going into his second year. We can't expect him to be able to, you know, none of these guys are going to be strong midfield drivers in just their second year. And I don't think Mazepin ever will be, unless he's in a Mercedes, a strong midfield driver. So it's it's a tough one. But for me, Haas just about here. These guys pretty close, I imagine. And also, I'm quite split between which way I put these two, Alfa Romeo and Williams. I'm quite split on that as well. For me, actually, Alfa might just edge it. That's probably I'm not going to change it, but I think there's a chance Alfa could actually edge that one. But also for Ferrari, for me, they have a really strong lineup. You've got Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc. Both of them fantastic drivers. Sainz was able to do relatively well compared to other teammates against Max Verstappen in their time at Toro Rosso. So I can see Sainz very much competing at the top. We also saw Charles and Max fighting each other, you know, at Silverstone, at Austria in 2019. Absolutely brilliant battles. They both seem to have the match on each other. So for me, it's a really strong lineup. It depends as well what Lewis Hamilton we're going to see next year. Whether we see one who may be a bit dejected, still a little bit annoyed, and a little bit out of love with the sport because of what happened in Abu Dhabi, how he feels so aggrieved by what happened. Or a very much reinvigorated Lewis who could be the difference. There we go. And I'm not sure on George Russell's race pace yet. I think that's still a fairly big question mark that he needs to answer in his career. What have we got in the chat? Ask because your logo has the French flag colours. Just oh right, yeah. No, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, the logo's just that was actually made by someone in I think 2016. So it's still pretty cool to have. But yeah, just a bit of red, white, and blue. Some nice colours, you know. What was my opinion on Money Cow show? I can't see him do too well. He was beaten by Nikita Mazepin last year, who we've seen hasn't been the best performing driver in the world. So yeah, I think they might struggle a little bit. I think Bottas should have the measure on Guan Yu fairly well, because she was just a waste of time for both. I want George and Lando to be on front. Yeah, I do as well, to be honest. I'd like to see them battling. Honestly, Kevin Magnussen was too good to get sacked. Yeah, in the end, actually, Kevin is a driver that's probably missed from that Haas lineup. They probably could have done with keeping Kevin as an experienced head to try to guide Mick through the early part of his career. How much effect will the wind tunnel use have on the development of these new cars when so much is changing based on aerodynamics? A fair amount. Definitely a fair amount. But you get so much from computer simulations nowadays, it's not as much as we would have seen in the past, for sure. So I'm saying at RaceBeacon. So what do you think of Red Bull, McLaren and Alpine lineups? You know what? We could do ranking the lineups. Should we do that? Should we do a bit of ranking the lineups? Should we give that a go? Let's pop these over here. I don't need to move Haas. There we go. Oh no, that's not that's the border, guys. I don't want to move that. All right, here we go. So let's go for the driver lineup, shall we? You know what? Let's rename the top as well. Lineup ranking. There we go. So in last place, I'm still fairly confidently putting Haas. That's the biggest reason why I have them last on the car performance as well. And then I think you're gonna go. Oh, this is rough. Oh, this is tough. I think just because of Guan Yu Zhou, I don't think he's going to perform fantastically well. Sorry, Valtteri, I might have to put you down there. Then Williams with Albon and Latifi. Then Vettel and Stroll. Wow, this is difficult. Why did I suggest doing this? Then I'm going to say Gasly and Tsunoda. Then I'm going to say Alonso and Ocon, but that's very much dependent on what Alonso and Ocon's form is. And then I'm going to go McLaren, but again dependent on what Ricciardo is able to do. And then I'm going to go Red Bull. Ah, man. I can't choose. I'm going to give it a tie between the top two. Because I honestly can't say George is still a little bit of an unknown, especially at the front end of the grid. So, for me, I think that's the driver lineup ranking. For me. Don't know what you guys think of that, but thoughts on a Vettel resurgence? Imagine 2012-esque. I can't see it happening, I'm afraid. I really genuinely can't. Snowdrift above Stroll. No, I'd say Gasly. Gasly tips it in their favour. Snowdrift above Stroll. That's a tough one. It depends if. Wow. Bear in mind, these are all pretty marginal, by the way. Yeah, that's a tough one. Switch McLaren and Alpine. Yeah, I think that's not a bad shot either. What McLaren size above Max and Perez? Yeah, it depends what Perez we get. And I love Checo to bits, but it really does depend on it if he could be closer to Max or not. If he's closer to Max, I'm more than happy to do that. But I don't know, for me, Checo just make it. It's more like this, really. It's like, it's just below, but it's there or thereabouts, because Max is phenomenal, but... Sorry, like I say, I normally bring a drink to this. I don't know why I decided tonight was a good idea not to. What have we got? I'll put Ferrari over Merc, but besides that, I agree. Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, Pustav saying switch McLaren and Alpine. Yeah, sad Checo. Yeah, sorry. Like I say, I love Checo to bits, but I don't know. He's got to be closer for me. Do driver predictions based off of facts and car philosophies and stuff. Yeah, like I say, like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that after pre-season testing and actual drivers prediction, because 20 people is a lot to get through. So I don't think I particularly want to do that twice, to be brutally honest. Okay, so we've got objective personality saying so it's going to be Red Bull, Mercedes, then equal to Ferrari, better than Alpines, then McLaren, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Williams, and then Haas. So we don't know about some drivers' performance up on the grid, so it's okay for now. Yeah, effectively. Fernando Allison shows up next season in his championship-winning R25 in 2005. At race, we can look at the statement that Latifi put on Sky Sports F1. Yeah, I did see. Is that the letter that he wrote, like the open letter that he wrote to F1 fans? I can bring that up. I'll type in Latifi, Sky Sports, and then see if there's anything new that's come out there. Yeah, no, there's nothing new. So yeah, there was Latifi revealed his letter or put a open letter out basically to F1 fans, talking about how he received death threats, and it was all horrific stuff. Some fans were, yeah, that was, some fans were horrible, absolutely horrible after the race. RaceBeacon, who do you think will be the biggest surprise and disappointment? I'm going to say biggest surprise would be Ferrari, because I don't think a lot of people are expecting them to be right at the top. And biggest disappointment, I'd say, it would be Haas, based off this at least. Because I think a lot of people are expecting them, you know, people are going, oh wow, they've put all of last year into developing their 2022 car. I mean, yeah, but they don't have the drivers for it, so I think it could be, well, at least I think they don't have the drivers for it, so it could be a little bit anticlimactic. What did Ferrari announce? So they've announced that they're going to be revealing their livery and their 2022 car on the 16th to 18th of February 2022, which is about a week before pre-season testing. So that little number counting down, you can see in the bottom left, about a week before that. Ferrari have the strongest lineup in Formula 1 right now, but they also have a clown as a team principal. That's not a bad shout either. Mercedes need to make a rocket. Do a drive prediction. Yeah, Alfred, I will do a drive predictions, but it'll be after pre-season testing, I think. Because it's just going to be wrong otherwise. Like, there's almost no point doing it because it will just be wrong. Leclerc is supposed to be this champion in waiting, but he has been outperformed by Sainz his first year at Ferrari, and if he is that good, he should be able to outperform the car. Yes, Manfred, that's a good point. Yeah, it is, and I'd say Charles would be incredibly disappointed by this season to be beaten by Carlos. He absolutely would. But it's not as bleak as it looked on the surface. Obviously, the mistake in Monaco, costing him effectively a slam dunk win at his home race. You know, that was all the difference was in the end. What about pit stops? They're going to get a little longer, right? I haven't heard anything on that. I don't know if... I mean, obviously we do have new tyres. I assume the pit stop procedures might change a little bit. And F1 in the last year or so have seemed to be straying away a little bit from the sub 2 second pit stops. Carlos champion material? I think potentially. Yeah. I think Carlos Sainz could very much pick up a championship in his time. Yeah, in his career, I think Carlos Sainz could end as a champion if he gets given the right car. He absolutely could be champion. Does need to sort out a bit of that qualifying form though. He does need to. I think in a way, both the Ferrari drivers have some real fundamental flaws that they really need to stamp out in their driving. But as a whole, they're very good drivers. Cannot wait to see the new cars. Do you think they'll mostly look the same, or can someone do a brawn? So by same, I assume you mean in performance. Yeah, any team on that grid is capable of making the best car if they find a bit of an exploit. Absolutely. I'm going to go back to this because that's the main point of the video. So for people just joining, there are our constructors' predictions for 2022. But I think Alpine are the most likely. McLaren have a high chance of doing a brawn. So these are teams who could do a bit of a brawn-esque move. I'm not going to say Aston Martin. Not going to say AlphaTauri. I can't say. I think Alpha could maybe be a surprise and somehow end up in the midfield somewhere if they do really well. For me, they're the three teams most likely to pull off something a little bit special from where they're expected to be. If I had to pick some, I think they're the most likely outcome. My drivers' predictions are 5 Albon, 4 Latifi, 3 Mick, 2 Mazepin, and 1 Robert Kubica. Which of the current drivers do you think are champion material, not for this year, but career potential? Wow. God, that's a tough one. I think Sainz and Leclerc could both very easily and may end up champions. Hamilton could get another. Russell should probably, at Mercedes long term, pick up one. Max should pick up another one. I think Norris in his career will pick up one. I'd like to see Daniel get one, but he needs that McLaren to perform and himself to perform in that McLaren. Ocon, if he has the best car, can. Alonso, same boat there, but he doesn't have many years for it. Stroll, I don't think ever could. Gasly, very much, maybe, very slim chance if he somehow ends up with the best car one year. Albon, no, I don't think so. Latifi, no. Bottas, no. He wasn't clinical enough in any of the years he's had the chance. Zhou, no. Schumacher, we need to see how he develops as a driver, but at the moment I'd say no. But that's a big no. That's a big guess, basically. And also Mazepin, no, I'd say. Oscar Piastri, yes. We'll have to see what he can do when he gets an F1. Hopefully he does soon. Sooner rather than later. Aston Martin won't do a brawn, they'll do a Mercedes. I mean, technically that is a brawn. How many points and podiums will Vettel get? That's a great question. I can see him picking up 2 or 3 podiums over the course of the year. And maybe a little bit more regularly in the points than he was this year. You sound so sure Mazepin, no. No, I'm gonna say fundamentally Mazepin, no. I can say it pretty conclusive. I cannot see a way he ends up champion. Samantha saying, I would love Sainz to get a World Drivers' Championship. Lando first though, then George, then Sainz. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. What we've got, Mazepin definitely a no. Yeah, I think that's fair. So yeah, we've got about another 15 minutes on this, so any questions that you've got basically at all, absolutely do chuck it forward and we'll go over them all. I think George will have more championships than Max. I don't know with that one. Of course, George did lead probably the best Formula 2 grid we've seen for a very long time, and he's absolutely up there. But I think he does still have some stuff to prove in Formula 1, and by the end of this year, he might have proven it, who knows. Haas last, but I expect them at least first. Yeah, for me, the lineup just simply isn't there, Jack. For me, at least. You know, could be completely wrong. How many more years do you think Mazepin will get in F1? However long his dad fancies it. Lewis will take champion next year, says Hayley. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. It depends what form we get Lewis in. Can Max do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke? We could have the Stoke Grand Prix if you want. I don't think it's quite as glamorous as Monaco, but... Will Vettel ever win a championship again? I can't see it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Vettel fans. I can't see it. I think that chance is gone. When we know if Lewis retire, he's not doing it this year. He said he won't. I imagine if he wins the championship... Oh, God, that's tough. If he wins the championship, does he retire next year? I think he may. Do I think Hamilton will win any more championships? Yeah, maybe one. I can't... That's a hard one. Do I think George can take his Mr. Saturday qualifier into Sunday? That's the big question for George. That's what he has to prove, because his race pace is not as strong as his qualifying pace from what we've seen. Do I think Lewis deserves the championship in 2021? Look, it's a real hard one. And that's why I was incredibly unbiased in my video as well that I did. It's a tough situation because Max had more bad luck over the course of the season and should have theoretically had the season wrapped up a lot earlier than it was, but because of the bad luck he wasn't able to. But equally, Lewis fought back so well, and I'm in that boat. It's a really boring fence to sit on. But for me, either of them deserve to be champion. And yeah, you know, I'd say to an extent, he was, quote, robbed in Abu Dhabi. I don't think that's the right term really for it, but, you know, that's the most commonly used one. But I don't think he was robbed of a championship either. I think he was robbed of a win that would have given him a championship, but I don't think he was robbed of a championship. Do I think Lewis will help George to get his first championship, then he will get his championship, and then he will retire? No, I don't think so. I don't think Hamilton will become the sidekick trying to help out. I can't see... I can't see that happening. I don't think that's actually what he wants to do. He'll help out where possible, but I can see it becoming... If those guys are top two, I can see it becoming a pretty rough relationship quite quickly. Based on statistics, Lewis did not deserve it. Well, no, you know, he made the most of the situations and was able to fight back from a tough situation before Brazil. So, like, on that basis, they both deserved it. Can we have... Can any team have an idea about others' car before testing? If not, how they get an idea if they made the best car, then other and will perform good on track? No, they can't really. Obviously, the F1 paddock's a big community. There would have been some discussion between teams on it, you know, between mechanics saying, "Oh, how confident are you next year?" and you know, things like that. But look, for the most part, they don't know, and there will be surprises. There'll be people who do really well, and there'll be others who disappoint. Jack raising a brilliant question: is testing in Bahrain or Spain? Short answer, both. So first off, we have, I believe on the... Oh, hang on, let me check the date when this starts. On the 23rd of February, we have Bahrain, 23rd to 25th. Sorry, Spain, 23rd to 25th of February. And I think it's the week before the Bahrain Grand Prix, we have the second pre-season test at Bahrain for another 3 days. Which is before the Bahrain Grand Prix to start the season. Which I don't like. I had an issue with doing pre-season testing at Barcelona and then going there 2-3 months later. So I'm really not a fan of having pre-season testing in Bahrain and then racing there a week later. It seems I hope they put a sprint race or something in there just to shake it up a bit because, I don't know, I don't think it's brilliant. Is testing bar? Oh yeah, I just read that one. Race director can shake rules in safety car matter, right? So Michael did that and didn't support Merck as they were mad. Pretty much. Do you think Alonso can win a championship with Alpine given a good race win car? Yeah. He's shown at times this year he was able to still put in a really good performance. We did see that. Question is, can he do it on a regular basis? And that's where it's maybe a little bit more shaky. But again, we have to wait and see. For on the top, then why not Haas overtaking Mercedes? Simply because of the driver lineup, pretty much. Do you think... Oh, I just read that one. Are the sprint races announced yet? I don't think so. That's a great question. I will Google that one for you. I'll have a quick look. F1 2022 sprint races. I don't think so. I can imagine there being one being at Silverstone and all of the big races. You know, the higher attendance races, your Silverstone, probably Brazil again because it worked quite well. But equally, the FIA might want to shake it up a little bit and try with different tracks to see which ones work when they maybe fully integrate it later on at some point. But I'd like to see a new format for the sprint races, absolutely. And we are going to do a video at some point analysing what the best use of sprint races is. And I've got some pretty good ideas for it. I'd love to hear what everyone thinks of it. We have some pretty good ideas. Lewis can potentially take the next one, considering his form. If we see Lewis like fully free and cares of nothing, he is going to win next year. Yeah, potentially. It depends on what mindset he has going into the year, basically. Why F1 doesn't allow new and innovative concepts of a car for any team? I get they will not be equal, but the FIA should support that innovation and allow for all teams to copy. And I mean, yes, but fundamentally they want it to be a fairly close series with fairly similar cars at the end of the day. You know, they don't want any more fan car concepts appearing or anything like that. They want stuff that they know is going to be safe, no one goes too overboard, everyone has fairly similar things, but you're still allowed some scope for innovation, trying to improve technologies and things like that. That's sort of where F1 is. It's more on the technology than other parts. Amanda saying, yo! Lewis deserves his 8th title, but I'd love to see a Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen championship title fight. Yeah, that'd be amazing. That'd be great. Maybe Ocon go Mercedes if Lewis retires. Potentially, yep. Will the field spread be smaller or bigger? That is a brilliant question, and hopefully smaller, but realistically, we've got new regulations. The first year, probably bigger, but then hopefully smaller as the years go on. I'd love to see the gap come down in race pace between the leaders, and we've seen in qualifying this year so many times the midfield cars, the upper midfield, the McLaren, the AlphaTauri, you need to call it Toro Rosso, McLaren, AlphaTauri, and sometimes an Alpine, Ferrari, just getting up there, doing great in qualifying, and then being 2 seconds a lap slower in the race. And that, I first of all, no idea how that happens. Obviously, going for a more qualifying game setup. But, I want to see that change as quickly as possible. If they're all 3 tenths a lap apart in qualifying, I'd like to see them roughly 3 tenths apart in the race, rather than, you know, a second and a half a lap slower. Make a video live on new regulations if possible. Yeah, I might do a bit of a dive into the new regs. Absolutely. Have I heard the news about Audi? Yeah, we did touch on that a little bit earlier on. And for me, if then I think it's most likely that they enter taking over another team, which I can't get too excited about, because at the end of the day, it's just a new badge, a new name. I want to see, you know, new team on the grid, extra two slots for drivers to go in, and yeah, hopefully means we get more battles. So yeah, I want 12 teams. Yeah, I would love 12 teams in F1. I absolutely love it. Make a video. Oh, I just read that one. That's what I think Ricardo is home after next year. Have you heard the news about Audi? Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that was right. That was what was confusing me. You put it twice. Ocon isn't a Mercedes driver anymore. No, he's not. He's not. But he does still have links. And if they need a driver at short-term notice, let's say Hamilton said he was retiring tomorrow, I think he's the most promising prospect they'd go to. Lewis new engine could pass a dope test. Objective. I measure field spread by the gap between 1st and 16th because I don't think any team will be on Haas 21 level, but general spread will be bigger. Yeah, I think it will be because we had a pretty close grid this year, to be honest, for the most part. I think it'll be more. I think it will be more. Which is a shame. You don't want to see that, but lots of good F2 drivers, but no seats in Formula 1. Absolutely. Absolutely. What my opinion is on fans not getting a refund from Belgium. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I know if I went there, I'd want a full refund. But at the end of the day, it wasn't... It was out of the FIA's control. It's a hard... That's a real tough one. I think they should have got... I don't think full refunds are in order. But... I do think something a little bit better than free F1 TV and an enter into a prize draw that you're very unlikely to win would be fair. Maybe for people who got weekend tickets, do like 20-30% back or something. I mean, that's a hard one. Because I know if I went there, I'd want the full refund. But, you know, that's because you're quite invested in it, obviously. Literally invested in it. 2022 Drivers' Champion predictions. Oh, that's something we'll do in the future. We'll do that after pre-season testing. So, if you guys want to see my 2022 Drivers' predictions, you should subscribe to their channel. And when we do that show, you can you can tune in and see what I think. They were given F1 TV passes. Yes, they were. Yeah. Yeah, they were given free F1 TV passes and the chance to enter a prize draw for free tickets next year, but they're going to be very unlikely to win that. F1 TV doesn't even show the races, which I think is a bit strange. They only show the leaderboard. Oh, yeah, no, they're on about the F1 TV Pro stuff. So that's like the streaming service that they have. Which does have full broadcast. You can ride on board with any driver, and you've got track maps and things like that. F1 TV Pro is like, it's actually really good. From what I've seen, being in the UK and having Sky, don't really have a chance to use it. Coolest helmet 2022. I don't think we quite know that one yet. We might need to wait a little bit longer to find out those. Could Williams pull off a Brawn? I don't think so. It's a shame. I can't see Williams really making much of a resurgence. They could find themselves back in the midfield again, but I can't see for another decade at least them being right up there. Sabyasachi saying, so what do you do beside YouTube? So, I'm a uni student for a start, so a lot of studying, and a lot of commentary as well. That's my life. Regulations are made for cars to follow closer, but cars look broad and big than other ones. Do you think it'll be tough to overtake in the corners? Right, yeah. So the main point of these cars was to reduce the dirty air coming off the back. Which should make it easier to follow, and hopefully that's the situation we do end up with, that it is easier to follow and we get better races. But I'm not sure how right they are in that. I mean, fundamentally the car should be a lot better on that front. They should be a little bit slower than this year. What we really need is braking zones to be longer, dirty air to be a lot less. And you've got great racing. Look, I want to make a return to, the cars between 2010, 2013, 2014. It was so difficult to drive. They're so twitchy through all the corners, and it really challenges the driver. That's something that I want to see a return to. Snowda beating Gasly next year. I can't see it. I'm not sure. I mean, it depends what form he's in. He might, learn, but he's gonna have to do pretty well to achieve that. Horner will be the team principal for Red Bull till at least 2026. Yeah, we did look at that a little bit earlier as well, which probably explains why. Which probably explains, why he was so. Well, obviously, he was happy to win the championship because he put a whole year of work into it, but he was extra happy and quite tetchy at times this year because his job probably was on the line. The cars need to be smaller or tracks need to be bigger. I'd go with cars being smaller because that sort of achieves everything. You've got the Formula E cars racing around Monaco was absolutely brilliant. It was phenomenal stuff. I loved it. My man Yuki will be losing his F1 coach. Sad. Yeah, true. 1,100 horsepower 20 in 2026 potential. Oh yeah, they did release some of the engine stuff, didn't they? I haven't had a very close look at it yet because I thought I'd maybe cover it in a video later on down the line. Hello, Kieran. How are you doing? You're joining us right at the end of the stream. There's about 3-4 minutes left, but hello. It is great to see you here. Great to see you. What do I think about LED tyres? I want to see it. I want to see LED on the floor of the cars as well, especially for the night races. Well, only for the night races, really. Because when McLaren ran that and released some photos, it looked brilliant. It looked absolutely great. And McLaren were actually running some LEDs on the tyre covers. So hopefully we do get that. My prediction is Merck and Lewis champion again. Lewis will be on an absolute rampage. Yeah, I think there's two ways it will go. It'll either be a bit more dejected Lewis, who gets frustrated with a good teammate, and it all just goes a little bit wrong, and he probably ends up retiring or giving it just one more year. Or we're going to have a very hungry Lewis who wants to right what he saw as a wrong in 2021. I want Toro Rosso, not AlphaTauri. Yeah, I prefer Toro Rosso to AlphaTauri. I mean, they're the exact same thing, just a different name. But I prefer Toro Rosso. Hey, I just joined Ferrari revealed livery. Oh, hello, David. For a start, I hope you're having a good week. So they've released a date. Sorry, they've released a date for when the livery is going to come out. So it's going to come out between the 16th to the 18th of February, which is about a week before pre-season testing, and you can see a countdown for that in the bottom left of the screen. I really should have bought a drink for this. All good, mate, Manlol. To summarise my feelings on 2022, I want consistent decisions, good fair racing, and Massey to be sacked. I think that's shared by quite a few people. I'd say myself included. We really do need to fix the consistency in the stewarding to prevent something like this happening again. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no worries, David, no worries. Well, Russell is quick, but it would be justice for this year, in my opinion. Who's best team principal in F1 history? Wow. Oh, wow. That's a good one. My personal favourite was Ron Dennis, but I don't know if he's the best in F1 history. I just love Ron. Hello, Lando Norris to get his maiden win from Elvis. Fingers crossed as a Lando fan. I think there's a good chance. Because in my mind, in my ideal 2022 season, we have those top 5 teams that I've got on the list absolutely fighting for it. Kieran saying F1 are going to pull and ignore Abu Dhabi. We have a shiny new car. Ooh, look over there, not here. Yeah, pretty much. Expect the marketing, very rightly to be fair, to shift to 2022 pretty soon. Wish you happy holidays of Christmas and New Year coming up. Yeah, thank you, Dave. And absolutely, of course, everyone watching as well. Wish everyone a very happy holiday as well. Never think of anyone as a GOAT because we can't ever compare heroes. Exactly, that's the main thing for me. Until you see them all pitted against each other, even in equal circumstances, you can't really do it. McLaren should go back to silver livery. I'd love to see the Vodafone livery return. I have a poster right now. I'm not at uni at the moment. I'm back at home. So I have in my room a poster of, I believe, the 2011 car. And I absolutely adore it. It is my favourite Formula 1 car. Don't even get me going on it. Yeah, if they were doing anything substantial, they would have done it by now. So yeah, that's on the FIA. Yeah, of course they've announced they are going to be looking into it and working with the teams to effectively try to ensure it never happens again, which is very much a good call because it's not a good look for the sport at all. Great for the channel, but not a great look for the sport. But yes, enjoy Xmas, mate. I know I'm a new sub here, but I wish you all the best. I'm looking forward. But defo worried about next year. It's make or break for me as an F1 fan. More racing, less manufactured drama. Yeah, hopefully. And yeah, it's great to have you on board, Kieran. Thank you so much. Great to have you here. So we're going back to the Australian Grand Prix next year. How the ground effects work on such a bumpy street track. The bumps are in braking zones. Sometimes, yeah, it's going to make it difficult. It's going to make it challenging. Ditcher saying, gotta go, sorry, we'll be back next time. Absolutely love the videos. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Ditcher. And yeah, like I say, over Christmas, we're going to be working on a new video as well. So hopefully there's a new actual video rather than, you know, these weekly streams that I'm going to be keeping up anyway. Yeah, hopefully they'll be coming up. So yeah, thank you, Ditcher, so much. It's been great to see you. I hope you have a very good holiday. Okay, at this point in time in 2021 December, who do you think is going to win the championship? If I were to bet on it now, I'd maybe lean Hamilton. But I really, really do not know, and I'm not confident on that one bit. So, yes, I think that about does it for today, guys. It means so much to see you guys here all the time. And, of course, if you are new here, head over to the Discord server where you can join in on all of the F1 chat that we have. Great community going on in there. And I assume quite a lot of you are already here anyway. How do I feel about... How do I feel about prating F1 Live? Prating? Sorry, I don't know what you mean, Ilya. Sorry. Enjoy Xmas. Will you go live next week or taking a holiday break? I'll probably go live next week because, to be honest, I'm not incredibly busy. Did Grand Theft is more dangerous because the side skirts are pretty... Yeah. If Ferrari top 2 and signs champion, yeah, potentially as well. That's the thing, I wouldn't put money on it. That's what I mean. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably go Hamilton, but I would not put money on it yet. But yeah, so we're going to do another one of these videos in one of the midweek shows after... Oh, pirating F1. Right, how do you feel about pirating F1 Live, aka me? I mean, I don't know. I can't really comment on like people's situations with it because a lot of people really just genuinely don't have access to a sport that they love. So it's a tough one, isn't it? I wouldn't say I have like a moral objection on any front to any of it. So because some people, you know, it's a sport they love and they can't access it. So I don't know. I feel like at that point you do whatever you can. Is an English chat, I think. The Discord is, yeah, the Discord is an English chat, yeah. Which just basically means that everyone who's in here can, you know, finds it just that little bit easier. But yeah, like I say, guys, thank you so much for all being here. I hope you guys do have a fantastic holidays. I will probably be back next week at the same time, I imagine. So it'd be great if I could see you guys all back here. And until then, look, I made a lovely graphic for you. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? There we go. Bye. Bye, Wayne, and bye, Lynn. Yeah, so there we go. I hope you guys do have very happy holidays and a great new year. We should be... What's the date today? It is the 22nd, so we should be back live on the 29th, so before New Year. So not quite happy New Year's yet. Not quite. But yeah. Like I say, guys, thank you so much. You've all been brilliant in the chat. It's great to see so many of you turning up for the midweek stream in the winter. So, yeah, if you guys sort of keep heading back, it's pretty nice. It's better than Silverstone crash out. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Sky got a little bit of a fight back on that one. But yeah, seriously, guys, thank you all so much. It means a lot to see you guys all coming back, so... I'm going to keep the videos up. Hopefully we can hit 5k before the start of next season. That's the ultimate goal. So if you aren't subscribed and you still happen to be here, it'd mean the world if you could. But I imagine most of you at this point will be. Bye-bye, Lindley. And like I say, I'll see you guys all probably in the Discord or on Twitter at RaceBeacon YT. They're all the ways you can get in contact with me. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great Christmas. I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.